Madden season's here, and ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about Madden 23 franchise. We're going to talk about everything we currently know about the franchise mode for this year's Madden title. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy, hit that thumbs up, comment below, and keep it tuned here as we jump in to all we know about Madden 23's franchise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so an article from Brian Shea at Game Informer has highlighted a bunch of information about Madden 23, but specifically today we're going to talk about what he wants to talk about with the Madden franchise changes. As he titles it here, it says continuing to fix franchise, and he talks about social media movement and how they wanted EA to, pay more resources and time to the franchise mode, which of course I've spoken about as well, and I need franchise to be a bigger deal for future Maddens, as they've kind of botched what they tried to do with Madden 22. It didn't really do what they said they were going to do. They kind of left it high and dry after their big scouting update. But here's what they're saying in Madden 23 they're going to add so far that we're aware of to the game. Madden 23 will add free agency, not only to ratchet up the drama, but also to make it so interactions with players are more dynamic than they ever have been before. So going into free agent interaction, players now have new motivations and tags. Motivations offer unique reasons why players might want to sign with a particular team. An example he gives us is a star wide receiver might want to play alongside a franchise quarterback. And if you happen to have an elite quarterback on your depth chart, your chances of signing that star wide receiver will go up compared to if you had a non-elite quarterback on your roster. Other motivations include players wanting to play close to their hometown, playing for a Super Bowl contender team, or even playing in a state that has no income tax. Now, with this motivation interactions, this new tag system. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. Let's talk about this first thing here, talking about motivations. Y'all, this is awesome. I think, for some of you, this may be a small thing, talking about free agency and trying to get players to sign. Any depth is good, in my opinion. And we're getting more depth here with free agent interactions. And that's always a big part of sports. We always hear about certain players wanting to go play for a team that's competing for a Super Bowl. You hear about players that want to go back and play for their hometown team. You hear about players that want to go, play for a Tom Brady. They want to go play for an Aaron Rodgers. They want to go play for, certain types of quarterbacks or players, those franchise QBs, those elite players. And now we're seeing that players are going to have their own motivations, and that will be a bargaining chip for you in Madden 23 in your free agency. And I think this is more depth that's going to add more, for especially if you're doing an online franchise like I've been doing recently. This is just going to make it much more competitive between you and your opponents. Very excited to see how this actually plays out, because right now, seeing this motivation stuff, what they're talking about here, I mean, heck, talk about states going to want to go play for a team that doesn't have income tax. If they're getting down to that level of depth there, that where it's talk about income tax, I think we're moving in a good direction there in terms of free agency negotiations. Beginning coupling off that, we're talking about the new tag system. Players will have specific attributes that drive free agent logic in Madden 23. So he already mentioned in this article franchise quarterback tag that may attract a star wide receiver to your team, but players can also have various other tags, such as the mentor, which will grant additional experience to all players in that position group. So say you have a veteran quarterback like a Tom Brady, any other players that are on that depth chart under quarterback, because he's a mentor, will gain an experience, additional experience, because he is a mentor to that quarterback room. Same thing with any other position, a veteran running back, veteran offensive lineman, any other position, you're going to have that mentor that will grant additional XP to those in that position. You're also going to have the award winner, which will heavily weigh how free agents negotiate with that player. So let's say you have a guy that just won Defensive Player of the Year and he goes in the free agency. Because he won that big time award, he is probably going to want to have a bigger paycheck compared to a player that may be equal skill level but didn't win that award. So with a award winner trait or tag, it will affect negotiations and free agency with that player and how it will go. Now, another things they're talking about here, so when you open up the new free agent hub, so apparently they have a whole new hub for free agency, You'll be able to see the players' motivations, their tags, how they fit into your specific scheme, their interest meter in your team, their expected market value in free agency, and they'll also show you how many teams are interested in said player. So with this hub, you'll see these new views, and these tools are very helpful because it makes it more strategic in your interactions and just deciding who you exactly want to focus on in free agency during that period in the off season. Because you have to be more strategic, because here's a big one here. You can only have five active negotiations in the early stages of free agency. So with this new revamped free agency we're seeing here, you can only have 5 active negotiations in early free agency. But however, as free agency continues to progress, you can negotiate with more players at once. But in the early free agency, only 5. As it goes on, you get to negotiate with more and more players as it continues on. Now, once you're in the negotiation screen, you can offer contract length, amount, the structure of how you want to choose to play that, pay that player, with 4 new preset offers, such as you can get a player friendly deal, you can sign them to a team friendly deal, a neutral deal, or the big one, the max offer deal. So the hope is that because of this, they'll now streamline free agency for those that want to build their team and don't want to get into the nitty gritty of financials. So if you're really wanting to just kind of be quick about signing, you can decide, I want to do player friendly, I want to do team friendly, I want to do neutral, I want to do max offer. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty and do everything your own, of course you can negotiate and change all those things to however you see fit and negotiate with your desired targets in free agency. Now, he continues on here and saying they're implementing more streamlined ways to progress through the menu heavy franchise sequences. He said, you're more likely appreciate what they did with the draft and trade logic that they did in this year's franchise mode. Not only that, but more active trading blocks mean that CPU teams are actively placing players up for trades more frequently, and teams now give immediate offers for players you put on the trading block, rather than you having to sim or advance the week and then wait for the offers to come in. So now, as soon as you put a player on the trading block, you're going to see active offers, potentially, depending on the player. So you're going to see, the CPU doing a better job with the trade block, the interaction there with the trade block. It's going to be more realistic. The logic has been changed. So the trade block has been revamped, and the trade system has been revamped for this year's Madden iteration as well. Now, adding to that, better dev trait progression and improvement team need logic has also been changed. And he doesn't really talk about that much more right now, but he says that you're going to have better dev trait progression, better improved team needs logic for your team. So I'm excited to see what he says about that. But he said, overall, a large focus from last year's poach launch updates was the scouting system, which we all saw. And if you're like me, the scouting system, while cool, while interesting, kind of lackluster. I'd like the scouting to be a little bit deeper. But EA, they also said that they're going to do more with this. This is their first attempt, but the Madden team is saying they're taking on what they did last year and they're expanding it for Madden 23 and franchise. Now you'll be able in Madden 23 to have more scouts in your scouting pool. You'll have the ability to scout multiple positions at the same time. You'll be able to have, the ability to weigh attribute reveals showing skills relevant to their position. You'll be able to, find more unique draft classes. You're going to have 3D models now on the player cards for these prospects you're scouting. Top that off, you're going to have better interface. You're going to have a better scouting hub improvement. Scouting will join the rest of franchise package as one of the most promising parts of Madden 23. So along with these additions, they're adding on to more stuff for the scouting franchise additions. You're going to be getting more with, of course, the trade logic. You're going to be getting more with the off season and the free agency. These are things that I think are very important. I hope there's more under the hood that they're not talking about just yet. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I currently know about Madden 23 franchise. If you found any other nuggets or details on Madden 23 franchise mode, comment below and let me know. Let this community know down below in the comment section. And let me know right now, what are your thoughts on Madden 23? Are you excited or are you pessimistic about this year's iteration coming to us in August? Let me know down below, and keep it tuned here for more Madden 23 news, coverage, and gameplay coming very, very soon. But stay safe. God bless. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Catch y'all back here in the next one. Y'all take it easy.